What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. My name is AJ, and today we have the 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road. We have spent the week with this vehicle. New press car every single week for you all, over 20,000 subscribers. Thank each and every one of you. Gonna be doing the full review. Start with a cinematic, then we're gonna go to the exterior, stats, figures, stuff like that. Then we're gonna be jumping into the interior, talking about some of that. Then we're going to be taking it on a drive to see how it performs. So, without further ado, let's get into the cinematic. Let's roll. Starting with some of the stats and figures, this TRD off-road has a 2.4 cylinder turbocharged, and it has 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. And drivetrain is four-wheel drive, obviously rear-wheel drive bias, and then popped into four-wheel drive. The curb weight is around 4,630 pounds, which is going to be pushing it from 0 to 60 in about 7.2 seconds. Its predecessor was right around the 7.6, 7.7, so it has shaved off about roughly 0.4 seconds, so it is just a little bit quicker. Now, MPG, 19 city, 23 highway, and a combined average of 21. Gas tank size, you're looking at an 18.2 gallon tank. Towing capacity is around 6,300 pounds. Now, touching on vehicle dimensions, looking at the overall length, you're looking at about 17.75 feet. Your overall width is around 6.5 feet, and the ground clearance on the TRD off-road is a little bit more than standard, and it is at 11 inches. SR trim level pricing, which is going to be your base, starts at around $31,500. Tester today is coming in at around $54,964. Let's just do a quick exterior walk around, point at some of the things you may or may not notice. So let's go over those very quickly. So taking a look, LED headlamps. Now you have a 360 camera. You can see one of the cameras is located right there. LED fog lamps down below. You have some fender flares, and you can see actually arrow going through there. You can see Tacoma written there on the side of the headlamp. Pretty cool little details that they have. On the mirror, you're going to notice one of the other cameras located right there. Keyless entry is on the front doors. Hopefully you can kind of see it right there indented. Unlocking, you can just simply put your hand inside. Even though they kind of just look like black plastic, they are still functional, which is nice. Coming on around, you are going to see Tacoma in the tailgate, and you have a camera back here as well. Obviously receiver hitch, and then the exhaust is coming out the driver's side, located right there. And then also your gas fuel door is here on the driver's side. Quick look at the tailgate. It is a power tailgate, as you can see right there. And you have an outlet over here, 120 volt, light, moving rails. Hopefully you can see it probably over there a lot better. Sorry, I was putting the camera right into the sun. That did not make too much sense, to be honest. Sorry about that. And then over here, you've got a little cubby with a bunch of different outlets up in there as well. All right, let's jump inside. Let's see how it is in the rear first. So, jumping in, it is quite high. Definitely stepping up. There's no sidebar. There is a handle right here. Nonetheless, kind of duck at the same time, slide in, and now we are good. Now that I am back here, it's definitely snug. The seat is a little bit more upright, but it does have really good cushioning. Up here, as far as headroom goes, I would say about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. And then this is literally where I drive. I've got, I don't know, maybe 1 inch there for legroom. And again, I'm 5'9". Down here, a couple USB-Cs, got your cup holders. And then over here, just touching on door materials very quickly. It is all harder plastic located on the door. And then the switch, it does have a little bezel, which is nice. I do like that. TRD. All right, let's jump into the front. Stepping into the front now, there is no grab handle, so a lot of times I'm grabbing the steering wheel, and then you just kind of fall in. It's not too bad. It's kind of like an awkward height though, because the roof line is kind of low on the Tacomas, but your step is like a decent step, so it's a little bit awkward. It's not terrible, but it is, like I said, awkward. Taking a look at the materials, you've got some texture over here on the door handle, and then this is soft touch, unlike the rear, which is nice for your elbow. Out on the mirror, we do have blind spot monitoring. Not sure if you can see it or not. It's out on the left-hand side right in there. Several different buttons down here. Again, power liftgate, so you can press that right there. Over here, you have automatic high beams, so you can select that. Charge control, the 120 volt, different auxes, and then all the way in the bottom is your lights, and then over here, you've got all of your mirrors and window controls. Taking a look right in front of us, you're going to notice full digital instrument cluster, which is nice and definitely upgraded. Obviously, I call it the standard Toyota Lexus, nice big screen. Up here, we've got the digital rear view mirror. We have heated seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, dual zone climate. We have a wireless charger right down here. You can kind of see the texture kind of carried throughout. TRD on the gear shift, and then down here we've got several different buttons, and then your different drive modes, and then obviously 4 low, high, and 2 high as well. If you press right here, the camera button, we can take a look. It's going to do basically a overview all the way around the vehicle, so you can see your surroundings. Now, if we put our foot on the brake and just put it into reverse, you can see you can change all of the different settings down here. But over on the right, you can see, as of right now, the way it's set up, 360 camera, and then behind you as well. Let's stop the annoying beeping by putting that back in park. Nonetheless, camera quality is really, really good. Yes, I have the AC blasting. This thing has been running for 15-20 minutes, if not more. And it is 105 degrees. I don't know if you can see that right there here, and it's 6:30 at night. So today was like 110, 111 here in Phoenix. Nonetheless, that's why the air is blasting. Hopefully the audio is not too bad for you all. Now, touching on the screen, you guys always ask responsiveness. So if I just press, I gotta press it first. That would help. Sorry, let me try this again. Press it. That's kind of the timing behind it. So not too bad. You do have a nice big knob for the volume. Do wish there was a tuning knob though, to quickly scroll through that. That would also be nice. Glove box, nothing really to write home about, pretty standard. And then as far as the seats go, I talked about this on the Sequoia as well, and the TRD Pro that we had. I love the design, and in certain lightings, you can't even see that design. It just looks solid, so it's really cool that they did the subtle detail there. Here in the middle, talking about the center console, you can fit just a few tissue boxes in there, probably, I don't know, 2 of them maybe. Not a bad size. One of the features I think is pretty neat on this vehicle, and I have not seen it in others, not saying it's not out there, but it's the only one I've seen, JBL, and it is a removable Bluetooth speaker. So you can see it pops out. I can pull it all the way out, and now you can literally go wherever you want. Like, you have a Bluetooth speaker now while you're out and about. So pretty cool little feature in this vehicle, and obviously it just charges literally while it's in there, and also is utilized as part of the speakers in this vehicle. Up above us, last but not least, we do have a sunroof. I think that's just about everything on the interior. The one thing I will note is this thing is really decked out in here. The one thing that's missing with all of the features you get, which kind of makes sense, probably more of a marketing ploy, there's no memory seating. So, I mean, you can get it, but not on this trim level, which again, just seems odd because you've got heated seats, cooled seats, like wireless pad, you've got the rear view mirror that's digital. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this thing, but not that. So I think that's part of the thing, right? Like something little but really does matter, to try to get you go up in trim levels, which kind of makes sense. And I don't know. You guys get what I'm trying to say. Nonetheless, let's get this thing out on the road and see how it drives. Getting this TRD off-road out on the road, even though we're not off-road. You guys know I don't really take things off-road. I could, I don't know. I feel like all of the vehicles that are focused for off-road, that's all reviewers do, is literally take them off-road to see how capable they are. While I certainly appreciate that, and I think that makes sense, I've got to do something for you all that is bringing value from another angle. So is it daily drivable as well, right? We already know that it's capable off-road, so let's see how it's like to live with it from a daily aspect. Now, what I have noticed with my time with it is from the previous Tacomas, you can tell that 0.4 roughly seconds is definitely just a little bit quicker. Got a little bit more pep behind it, which many people are gonna go, wow, it's a 4-cylinder, you know, should have kept the 6-cylinder, all this stuff. You know, technology, that's all I can tell you, you know. It's amazing what they can do with technology, and it does. It has a little bit more pep to it. I can certainly feel that. The other thing that I really notice is really the kind of like the shift points. It's not fighting and changing for a gear all the time. I really noticed that on previous Tacomas. It was always kind of shifting and trying to find its gear, especially on the freeway. This is much smoother. It really kind of just stays in its own gear whenever, you know, you're passing someone. Obviously it's going to downshift, but past that, it's definitely more refined in my opinion. Noise levels are important. The motor, yes, you can hear it a little bit, nothing too shabby. As far as wind noise goes, pretty refined, very maintained, no issue there. I can only imagine probably the Limited is even a little bit better than this. Nonetheless, it is still definitely good. Now, with any off-road focused vehicle, when you get a little bit more knobby of a tire, it always concerns me of the noise levels from the tire. From the tire perspective, yes, you can hear them, but it's actually a little bit better than what I expected. I kind of expected them to be pretty noisy. They're really not. Like I said, you can hear them. It's not like they're not there, but definitely for what this vehicle is, pretty impressed. All right, let's test some acceleration here. It's not bad. Like I said, I can feel a little bit of the difference from previous Tacomas. So definitely happy with some of the improvements there. Most certainly happy with the transmission because, again, it just seems way more refined. We are coming up to the cattle guard. We do it every week to try to compare kind of vehicle to vehicle. If you don't know what a cattle guard is, just go ahead and look that up really quick. Nonetheless, we are about to go over it here. So let's see how I react with suspension and noise. Suspension, you can definitely tell, absorbed it like a champ, which I really expect on an off-road vehicle, right? Like it's supposed to absorb going over big bumps and off terrain. I think it does really good. As far as noise, again, very maintained. I don't mind that at all. The tires are a little bit on the noisier side, but again, for what this vehicle is, comparing apple to apple, I think it's pretty good. So people always ask like Tundra versus Tacoma, like what's for you and what's not. So here's my take on it. So spending time with this Tacoma, from the outside, it honestly doesn't look that much different than a Tundra, right? Obviously a little bit smaller, but honestly, these trucks nowadays, like they don't look that much different. However, the feeling on the inside of the cab, it to me is almost night and day. Like you get in a Tundra and you just feel like you have all this room, and then you kind of get in here and you're like, ooh, you can definitely tell it's smaller. So it depends on what you want. Now, it drives a lot smaller too. Like if you don't love a big vehicle as far as driving it, then I would definitely consider this Tacoma because it feels like almost like a medium-sized, full-size SUV. Like it drives really small, which is nice, especially if you live maybe kind of like more towards cities and you don't want a big vehicle. this definitely might be good for you. Now, as far as lane centering goes, it does really well. Has lane keep assist as well, along with the lane centering, obviously. You do have to have your cruise control set for the lane centering. If you just want the lane keep, you do not have to have your cruise control set. If you don't know the difference, lane keep is basically, if you start to leave your lane, it'll kind of like steer you back into your lane just a little bit. And then vice versa, for if your cruise control is set, lane centering literally will keep you dead center of the lane at all times. Now, don't drive without your hands, have your hands on the wheel, blah, 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 blah. We know this. It's just if you go to get a drink of water, whatever, it is a good safety thing to have there instead of like using your knee, blah, 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 blah. You guys get the point. Drive safe. Overall, from a daily standpoint, for this really being, again, a TRD off-road, like, I'm pretty impressed. Like Toyota and Lexus, which Lexus not in the truck segment, but in general, right? They are doing a really good job with these off-road focused vehicles, like to where they have such an incredible balance. Like it used to be kind of like one or the other. Like you could go with the off-road, but then it drove like absolute garbage on the road, right? And it was really capable off-road, but now like you basically had a trade-off, and now they have such a balance that I think it's so good. It's pretty impressive. The other thing to always consider on Toyota, in my opinion, is resale value. Like you're not hardly going to beat it. Like Toyota has a really good resale value, so just something to consider and research if you're looking into this. If there's anything else that I am missing, please let me know. I think we've covered just about everything. I guess the last thing I'll talk about very quickly is blind spot. Pillar's a little bit thick, not bad. Over to the right, honestly, not bad at all. And then of course, like I've already said, there is blind spot monitoring if you need it. Next video is going to be 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Again, new vehicle every single week. So even if this isn't the vehicle for you, next week maybe. Comment down below anything you guys would like to know. I try to respond to every single person. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next. Peace.